Hello, great people.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. I am Chidi Akunna.
And I am Victor Akunna.
Hey, if you're new to our channel, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell next to it so you're notified when we drop our content. And to every returning subscriber, would like to say thank you. Thanks for engaging with us.
You guys are the real deal.
You are the real deal.
You're members of the family now. Yeah?
Thank you. Okay, so we're continuing from where we left off in the first part. It's a continuing video. Topics to avoid on your first date. If you haven't seen the first one, please go find it and see it. We shared some points you want to hear about.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll be continuing this. It's not like a follow-up, different points this time. Okay, but let's just give a context. And this is for anyone who has just met someone, okay, and you're going on a date, you've just been invited, okay, can we have a chat, or I'd like to get to know you, something like that. You're not friends, okay, you're meeting probably for the first time. You may have met online, but maybe first time in person, okay. And what prompted this is someone contacted me and asked me, what conversation should I be having? Hey, I've just been linked up with a cousin. What conversation should I be having on a first date? Okay, and we thought this might help many more people out there. Bear in mind, some of the topics we have talked about might come up on your first date. It's okay if it does. Okay, in that case, you just ride on the wave of it. Okay, but do not go stashing this topic, throwing it in the face of the other. Like, yes, this is something we need to talk about as much as possible. You want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that what you meant was that you were saying earlier on, I've just been linked to a cousin. What you meant to say was I've been linked, my cousin linked me to somebody.
Yes.
So that's what I just wanted to point out.
Okay.
So it's very important if you are going on your first dates. I mean, different feelings. I remember first time I met her. By the way, I'm going to be sharing what I asked her the first time I met her. You know, so you had no intention though. Yes, I had no intention. Yeah, actually, I had no intention at the point where I met
so we're talking about people who had intention.
So what did we discuss on our first date? Do you remember?
Of course I do.
Yeah, what did we discuss?
You want us to tell them in this video?
Yeah.
Okay, first thing he asked me was, what do you like about yourself? Yeah. Hey, no one had ever asked me that question. And I think you struck a chord there with that question. Let's not talk too much about it.
Well, the thing I was trying to do was I was trying to get to know her. That was probably the first time I was seeing her. So I was getting to try to understand who she was. I was trying to get... There is this quote that I learned from Les Brown, one of the top motivational speakers. He said, when you open your mouth, you tell the whole world who you are. So I wanted to elicit answers. And the only way to elicit answers is to ask the right questions. So we believe that the first date is a date of, getting to know the person in front of you. All right, getting to know their values, getting to know their strengths, getting to know what makes them tick, what makes them excited, what makes them sad. Just having a nice time, really. Not going into the deep stuff, what's the philosophy of your life? Those kind of topics. Or what's your 5-year goal? Those kind of topics. They are important, but maybe not on the first dates.
First date?
Yeah, how many guys have you dated? How many ladies have you dated? So, not on the first dates. Remember, we keep emphasizing not on the first dates. So, we're going to be talking about some other points, So now we'll be saying these are things not to discuss. So what exactly should you not also? So what are some other points that you shouldn't talk about?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing, for one of the topics to avoid, the first thing we'll be considering today would be talking about marriage or having children. Now, sometimes it just comes natural to some people, especially if marriage is your thing. There are people who will tell you, I love love, right? And they just get there and they start asking questions about marriage. Now, you're for someone who probably is not decided, okay, is still trying to check you out, know who you are. This person might be thinking, oh, is she already thinking I want a couple? Like, too fast. Hey, slow down. Okay, and that's not what you want. You don't want to go out there and appear like you're desperate or I need to get married.
Yes.
You know, talking about children. How many children would you like to have? And the person is thinking, are you saying something? You know.
If I asked you about marriage the very first day, you know, that's a tricky question to ask you, but you know, just for our viewers.
On the first day, I wouldn't have thought much about it. Yeah, that's why I was saying it depends on the situation. And that's because I knew you had no intention, considering how we met. Okay, but when it's like someone has invited you, or I would like to get to know you better, know more about you.
Fantastic.
Okay, there's an intention there.
Fantastic.
So you just leave it, play cool. If something brings it up in the course of talking, because there are people you connect with so fast, and the conversation can go really deep.
Yes.
Then you talk about it.
Fantastic.
But you just allow things unfold.
Otherwise, you can make the other person uptight. You know, you're like, I mean, I'm meeting someone for the first time, he's asking me, and when would you like to settle down? No, I'm not settling down, I want to settle up. You know, don't ask me. There are some questions you ask someone that will throw them off. And when you throw them off, you create an awkward position, awkward situation that if you're not very good conversationalist, the conversation can go down the hill quickly.
Yes.
All right, so avoid these kind of areas where you just want to say, you know what, when are you, how old are you? Oh, you are this. No, okay, how come? You this cool, tall, dark and handsome guy. So why are you still in the market? What kind of question is that? Can create an awkward situation. That's what we're trying to say. Yeah.
Yes. You could even, like you were saying in the last video, you need to approach the first date with curiosity.
Yes.
Right? But be curious on the right things.
Yes.
You know, I know after a number of times of talking with you, I asked you a question about your future, like what you'll be doing after we were serving at the time.
Yes.
Okay, what would you be doing after now? Okay, and for you shared really deep stuff that challenged me. So I mean, it's to know what to discuss and when.
And that brings us to the point we promised in the other video that we're going to share something called progressive disclosure.
Yes.
So we came up with this concept called progressive disclosure, which is basically when you get to meet someone for the first time and then you guys meet again, then you can now gradually share some things. Because sometimes people will say, okay, you guys are saying, all right, don't discuss about marriage. So at what point should you talk about marriage? You know, should we not talk about you at all? Should we hide this part of myself? No. It's the principle of, for those who teach, it's the principle of teaching. You start from the basics and then you build gradually.
Yes.
You don't start that, okay, you want to teach this child something and then you start from, maybe you want to teach, a child that is probably 4 years old or 5 years old, you want to teach them mathematics. You don't start from calculus. No, you start from basic arithmetics. 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2. You start from the ground floor and then you build up. So you don't start from calculus, algebra, trigonometry, all those kind of Pythagoras theory.
You still remember your math.
Yes, you won't start with all this, though that's where you are going.
Yes.
All right, so same thing applies to relationship. You're meeting someone, you want to give them an opportunity to get to know the human being in front of them, not just their history. You want to know the person in front of them, not their past. All right, so when you get to have the opportunity of meeting the warmth, the fantastic values this person has, then you now begin to unpack the past, to now begin to know, all right, is this something I want to deal with? Do I have the competency to deal with some of the issues that are surrounding this person? Because you're not just going to be marrying the person. There are many other things you need to put into consideration.
Okay, so very good point. Another point you need to consider to avoid serious political issues.
Yes.
Serious political issues. And when I say this, like the way we started, it is possible, if you have interest in politics, it is possible that you may have met this person at a convention or at a campaign. Yes. But you even if you do, you can still talk about politics in a way that is not divisive. Okay, you talk about the general thing, not like there are people who talk about politics and they are very strong on their opinion, and they do not expect you to have a contrary opinion, okay, to their stance on it. Oh, this is what I think about this party, and it's okay to maybe talk about that, because don't forget, we said some things might bring these topics up, but it matters how you talk about them, how you express your views on the topic as well. Okay, so if that's the case, then you need to know, okay, where you find a middle ground for that. Okay, and if that's not the case, then it might be something to leave for another day, not the first date.
I like the word you use, divisive. All right, so avoid topics that can be divisive. But someone may say, so what happens if I'm talking to someone who loves politics, who has all the news channels on their phone, and then they're always, that's what they think about. So what am I going to do? If that's the conversation that keeps popping up, I need to be able. So if you find yourself in a situation like that, find a safe place, find a place of agreement. Why? Because for most people, politics is it's a topic that touches on the emotions. So most people sometimes we can't be factual. Sometimes so it's the politics that we choose is most times linked to our view of the world. View of the world. In other words, so when some people have the view of the world that people should be liberal, they're likely to support liberal views. If they have view of the world that says people should be conservative, they're likely to have conservative. It doesn't mean that they're bad people, just that their view of the world influences the kind of politics they choose, the kind of life decisions they make. So it doesn't mean that the two people cannot get married. No. All right, they can find middle points. So it's always good for us to find middle points. In fact, that's what you're going to be doing most of your marriage anyway.
Exactly.
You're going to have your spouse will have a perspective. You may have on different issues. There are issues you're going to agree on, but there are issues you're going to have divergent views. So what are you going to do? Are you just going to hide under the cupboard and just try to run away? No. Find a safe place, find a common ground, find where you agree, and then build up from there.
And you can still talk about these things without rocking the boat.
Yes.
Really.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So yes, if you must, then learn to be tactful with your speech. All right. So another point we would like to consider is talking about medical matters. Okay. It's just like we're talking about progressive disclosure, because you see some people. Now, in saying this, I would be very careful. Okay. But it's the first date.
Yes.
First date. That does not mean that we're in any way encouraging people to go on. If there are sensitive things they need to talk about, they need to share things that would influence the choice of the other, the decision the other makes. All right, those things must be talked about, but it matters. But you don't just go too far into the relationship before sharing. I'll give an example. For some people, it might be with their genotype, okay, and that you have this genotype that I'll give practical example. You might be AS, okay, and you need someone who is AA, but definitely not someone who is AS, because you do not want to have children who would end up as with the sickle cell. I don't know what to call that.
Yes, you don't want to bring a child that will have SS genotype that will create a lot of pain for the child and bring strain on your relationship.
Yes. So with that in mind, when you meet someone, of course, on the first date, one wouldn't expect you to start saying, man, AS, things like that, and then the other might just bail. But you don't carry on in that relationship for so long. Okay, knowing that by the time you begin to know that this person is interested, okay, I mean, you should be able to make that discretion really to know when to share. Don't let that person's emotions be so wrapped around you before sharing such sensitive information, especially when you know it's a deal breaker. Okay, it could decide whether the person wants to go on or not. Okay, so you should be nice enough to know when to share. So if that person wants to continue, then it won't be because my emotions are wrapped around you already. I'm so in love with you now, and it's difficult for me to let go. Yeah.
It's in contract, it's called utmost good faith. All right, it means that before you go into any serious commitment, such as a marriage, you have to lay your cards on the table. But what we're just trying to say is that on the first date, that's not the kind of topics you bring up. But when you, after the second date, the third date, you begin to sense, you will know in your heart that this person is beginning to find, how one of the ways is that the intensity of your communication will begin to build. You start looking forward to talking to each other. Your emotions are already getting connected. That's when you say, I want to have a meeting with you. There's something I like to talk about. Oh, is this something? Oh, nothing something really serious. I just like to see you. Have that conversation. Put the card on the table. If he goes with it, fine. If she goes with it, fine. If she doesn't go with it, fine. But let the person have the privilege of making an informed decision. Not that the person was deceived into it. Otherwise, whatever you are doing will be null and void. Okay, that's a very serious issue.
Yeah, so that's for medical matters. For such issues, you should know when to talk about it. But hey, first date. Enjoy your dates.
Enjoy your dates. Yeah.
Enjoy the dates. And not every relationship evolves that way. Okay, you might have a first date and nothing might happen after that. Okay, and that's why we're big on people knowing who they are. Be big on your identity. It's not someone coming into your life. I'm speaking to the ladies now. Someone coming into your life does not complete you. No, you're complete. You should be complete and whole. Okay, marriage is about two whole individuals coming together. So you're bringing something into it. It's not coming to complete you. So if it doesn't work out, do not look at it like, oh, I'm still incomplete, or there's something about me that needs to be upgraded. No.
Can you imagine me feeling that I'm incomplete? Yeah. She adds a lot of value to me. A lot of value. I'm a much better person. But it doesn't mean that I'm incomplete. Incomplete means I'm a half of something. No. I'm a complete whole human being that can function. But she brings gifts, she brings talent, she brings wisdom, she brings that complements, makes my life spicier. All right, so that's very important.
Now let's take the last one we'll be talking about, which would be talking about previous sexual experiences. Yes, some people may have had previous experiences. So when you meet this person, that's not the time to begin to talk about, this happened, it wasn't quite how I wanted it. No, that's not the time. First date. First date. There are things you leave for later.
Absolutely.
Okay, but we're not in this video in any way saying do not share these things, because people should walk into relationships with making informed decisions. Okay, but it's about knowing what to share when, not on the first date.
So it's not the place to say, well, how many ladies have you slept with? Oh, I've slept with this number. Oh, this. No. Those kind of conversations have the tendency of derailing the conversation. You don't even know who you're in front. So you are thinking of them with what Chimamanda would say, the danger of a single story. So everything you're thinking about this person is based on that story they shared with you. No, have the opportunity, give the person the opportunity to get to know you, get to know your values, get to know your vision, get to know your strong point. Then you can now begin to progressively disclose some of this. So that way they will have experienced you at different points to have a fuller perspective of who you are. Very important. Yep.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we shared a lot here. Pick what you need at this moment and run with it.
Yes.
Okay, and if for any reason you think, there are people who I have friends who should learn from this, feel free to share with them. Share this with them. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it, so you're notified when we drop our content.
Join our team. Join the team of those people who help us to push this message out there. Help us to go where we can't go. All right. So, and another thing I wanted to share with you guys, is that if you have any particular point you think we could have mentioned, leave it in the comment section. We'll probably do another video explaining that, adding that as well. And then there's a video that came to my mind while we were talking. Why do beautiful beautiful, brainy, and bold ladies stay in the wrong relationship for too long. It just came to my mind. So
stay in a relationship.
In the wrong relationship. For too long. So we're going to be sharing that. So if you have any other topic you want us to talk about, share with us, and then we'll pick those topics up.
Okay. All right? So until we come your way again, it's goodbye from us.
All right there.